This next question sort of has a kind of two parts to it, so stick with me on this. What will you do to support, protect, and enforce the city's covenants, conditions, and restrictions, or more commonly known as CCRs, in the face of growing challenges from outside entities, such as the state of California, who may seek to restrict cities, not just Palos Verdes, but all cities, authority to make local decisions regarding housing density, cell phone tower placements, etc.? And as an example of that, I know that the City Council is considering allowing ADUs, which are accessory dwelling units, on 25% of the lots, and JADUs, junior accessory dwelling units, on all lots, even though the CCRs forbid it. What is your position on ADUs and JADUs, and why? So, Kevin, we'll start with you on that.
Okay, so to know where you're coming from, we've had a couple of double lots, single homes on a double lots in our neighborhood, and general contractors have come in and built beach houses on both those. And I'm in favor of some type of sealing or freezing the double lots so people can't put these double houses, these beach houses, because the one they built around the corner from us is basically butt ugly.
That's a technical term.
Yes, I got it from one of the engineers.
Yeah.
No, the bottom line is I think we need to have our ordinances as strict as they can be, as long as they abide by the state law, not to allow the Sacramento to influence any of our building codes.
Great. Victoria?
I think this came in front of the city council three, I guess. And I remember the first time listening kind of to the staff report and thinking, what on earth are they talking about? And then the light bulb went on and I thought, oh my gosh, they're talking about the whole state of California being 2 on a lots. You know, I had this vision of kind of North Redondo and Hermosa, you know, and I thought, oh no. You know, for me, this issue and having the controls that we want to have, I think it's just super important that the city and the Homes Association be working together. You know, both organizations represent the same constituents, that's us. And to me, this is an example where I feel like the work that the city staff did was really not very good. It wasn't solid. I didn't think it was professional. I thought what they put in front of the city council was awful, and my only conclusion was that maybe they were hoping that the Homes Association and the CCNRs would somehow backstop a bad code on the city side. So I think and the city and residents, of course, came in an uproar. So we need to relook at this thing, rip it apart, and make sure we have the most. Sorry, George.
Thank you. Jennifer?
I got dinged.
There is a housing crisis in California, and as a result, the state is enacting legislation that requires cities to increase their housing. One way they're doing that is through the addition of ADUs. But cities do have some leeway, and so what the City Council is trying to do very carefully through multiple meetings is enact the most restrictive ordinance possible while complying with state law. And so we have an ordinance that limits ADUs to a certain lot size, to a certain height. We're trying to comply with all our building codes as well. And so it's taken a long time. We are trying to strike a balance because once we enact that ordinance, it does have to go up to Sacramento for approval. So we are trying to be very careful with that. In terms of the CCNRs, the city doesn't enforce the CCRs. The Homes Association enforces the CCRs. And it certainly is possible that an ordinance that regarding ADUs will be barred by the CCNRs, but that is something that will be fought in court. And that's the Homes Association fight. It's not ours. I really don't want the city to pay litigation expenses to fight the Homes Association fight.
Thank you. Michael?
I don't know about you, but I want to preserve the character of our city. The state of California is forcing its increased density demands on municipalities across our state. Our council directly collaborated with our city attorney and created this ordinance that everyone's been talking about. And that ordinance would allow a large percentage of our lots to add a secondary dwelling to those properties. We all moved here because we cared about the CCNRs and we care about the integrity in our open space in our city. My position is that our residents enjoy a homes association with covenants and restrictions, and this makes the character of our city unique, and those CCNRs are defensible. I understand the cost issue, but hell, we just fought over parklands for 6 or 7 years, so I understand. We need to support our homes association, not ignore them because they're another organization. We're the same exact residents. So my position is until such time as our CCNRs are litigated and or this happens in somewhere else in the state, that we have no need to develop an additional ordinance that we have to have Sacramento approve. Our residents don't want these rules imposed. Stop the madness. 10 seconds.
Thank you. Betty Lynn.
Just to clarify, as of right now, everyone can actually build an ADU on their property because this is what the state told us to do.
No, they can't. The Homes Association stopped
Michael,
it.
hang on. Michael, not a debate. Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you.
What the council has been trying to do is to make it the most restrictive. Yes, we're a constituent that answers, we have two bodies of government. But if we don't comply with the state, they can sue us, because Gavin Newsom is suing Newport Beach for the exact same thing, and they can pull our funding. So what do we do as the city council? We have to protect our residents. We have to protect our properties, which is by putting the most restrictive but acceptable restrictive rule. So yes, maybe there's 25% of houses or of properties that gets to build, but the other 75% don't. And so less likely to be challenged if somebody wants to build on their property an ADU, and then our ordinance says you can't unless you meet a certain criteria, they're less likely to sue us and sue the Homes Association. So we kind of cover both of our behinds with one ordinance. Because yes, they can build. Yes, they might have to sue them, but they can build.
Okay. Thank you. David.
Yeah, I'm not as up to speed on the ADU issue as I would like to be because it's fairly new. But what I'm concerned with right now is that we look to other cities in the state similar to ours and how they have defended themselves against keeping the covenants as restrictive as possible. I fully support that if we have to, we're not going to lose state funding, but we're going to want to put together a strategy that keeps the minimal amount of impact to our residents on the ADUs and the JADUs. I think that we could potentially want to look at other legal sources that have worked in other parts of the state to benefit from their knowledge as well. I have not seen but one legal advice on Palos Verdes estates to date.
Okay. Great. Thank you.